Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well as I always do. This is an update video for you in relation to the new rules that are coming into the Premier League next season. It's an update on what VAR is going to be doing, the differences between deliberate and accidental handball, and also we will be discussing the new substitute rule. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor, 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where you can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, as you can see from the icon that's up here, along with Admiral and Umbro Claret and Blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Any purchases you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I will be sending directly on to Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity within the Newham area that are helping those that live in the Newham area that are reliant on food banks. Now guys, I know I say this every single video, but please make sure that you do buy from this link, because at the end of the day, these shirts are 10 to 15 quid cheaper than the West Ham club shop. So we're all trying to save money as much as we can coming out of the pandemic. So save yourself a few quid. You get yourself a really nice replica shirt. There are some new Butka shirts in there as well, for that matter. And you'll be going on to help that charity looking after those that are less fortunate than us. So click away, buy. Seriously, do it. Now, first of all, we'll talk about deliberate handball, I should say. Deliberate referees. This is what's up on the Premier League website. It says referees will now look for a deliberate action of a player with an emphasis on whether the hand or the arm is in a natural position or not. Now, I've had to paraphrase and change a few things to make it sound a bit more readable, because the stuff on there is like reading terms and conditions of an insurance policy, guys. It's ridiculous. Mike Riley, the managing director of the professional game of match officials, which is basically the refereeing body, is quoted on there as saying, when an arm extended away from the body that makes the body bigger in an unnatural position, that's basically half of what they're deeming as deliberate. He goes on to say, if the ball strikes that arm, particularly if it is blocking a shot on goal, there is a greater likelihood that we will penalise that. So basically, if you're defending a corner or whatever, and the player jumps up and the ball is seen, that the hand is seen to be going in the same direction as the ball, aka handball, not the ball travelling to his arm, that's what's going to get a penalty for. That's what they're deeming as handball. Accidental is if an attacking player's accidental handball immediately precedes a player scoring, the goal will now be awarded when last season it was likely to have been ruled out. Right? So basically, as I say, if a player is jumping up for the ball, it comes up, his arm's in a natural is in a natural position, and the ball hits his arm and it goes to another player and that player scores, it's deemed as an accidental handball, and therefore the goal will stand. However, a player will still be penalised if he commits an accidental handball immediately before scoring himself. So basically, again, if the player jumps up and it hits his arm, it goes to his goal, he squares it, and boom, that's it. There's a very good chance it's going to be deemed as deliberate. And this is where it gets a bit muddy in this. It's contradictory to a degree. And then it goes on to say, although a player can still not score a goal with their arm, even if it is accidental, because as we know, guys, the rules when it comes to scoring goals in any football game, not just the Premier League, the rules are from the feet. You can be scored from the feet all the way up to the head, and it stops here at the shoulder seam, as we talked about last season. So to say, it's not really clear, but it's clearer, shall we say? You know, it's basically, at the end of the day, if a ball comes in and it's an accidental handball, as I said, the player has to kick it, square it off to a colleague or whatever. You know, it's pathetic, but it's better than what it used to be. Now, for the coming season, in terms of VAR, referees on the pitch and VAR hub in Stockley Park will be making improvements in the following three areas. First of all, marginal offsides. So basically, which is the benefit to the attacker, as we were talking about in the previous season, in the previous video, I should say. All that will be shared with the viewers is the final image confirming the decision of if it's offside or not. So basically what we'll see, as we saw in the Euros, quite frankly, is if we won't see these lines being drawn and piddling about and blah blah blah. What we'll see is, I know we did see that a little bit in the Euros, but the majority of the time what we saw was just the fact that, right, this is the reason why it's offside. That's what we want. We don't want to see this pissing about, because it leads to too much ambiguity. It's never going to please everybody. You know, this is what the offside rule's all about. But at least it's gone back to the old days of, if it's not clear and obvious, then the advantage goes to the attacking player. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And apologies, guys, my stomach's rumbling a little bit. And there's also thought behind. This is going to be explaining, I should say, the thought behind the assistant delaying the flag for offsides. In the coming season, assistant referees will raise the threshold for what constitutes an immediate and obvious goal-scoring opportunity. All right. So, for example, that's not very clear. So they put it in layman's terms. So basically, for example, an attacking player receiving the ball from an offside position down the wing will now be flagged offside by the assistant, also known as the assistant putting the flag straight back up. That's all they need to say. If a player's in an offside position, they're going to get the flag straight up. It's the second the player receives the ball. It's not hard. It really isn't hard to sum it up in that way. It really isn't. Principles for making decision making around what challenges by players should constitute as fouls, aka what a foul should be. Now, Mike Riley goes on to say, the experience we have had over the last couple of seasons is that the Premier League is all about competitive and compelling contact. Yeah, we know that. It's a bit contact sport. He goes on to say, we've lost a bit of that contact sport, probably because of the intervention of VAR. There's no probability about it. It is exactly what it is. That's exactly what's happened. It's killed the momentum. The experience of the Euros is showing that people will appreciate it if you allow the game to flow. If you accept that some small contacts just aren't fouls. Well, we've been saying that for donkey's years. Not just during the Euros. They are part of the game. Simple as that. He goes on to say, instead of referees forensically looking for minute contact, they have to consider three factors. Number one, is there clear and proper contact? Number two, does that have a consequence, i.e. does it make somebody fall over? And number three, or is the motivation of the player to use that little contact to go down? Right? So basically, in other words, when a foul is done, is it a deliberate foul? Is there enough contact to make the player go down, or is the player looking for it? That's what it is in a nutshell. So it goes on to say, so if you have a clear contact with clear consequences, that is what you penalise. But leave the small things alone on the pitch and in the VAR hub, which is basically what that means, is the fact that if it's a dive, it's down to the referee and VAR to discuss it. Quite frankly, it's as simple as that. It's basically down to the ref's decision. If you think he's dived, then boom, go on. Therefore, if it's a dive and there's no penalty, then it's a yellow card, surely. Will we see that come back? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, guys, the last one we want to talk about is this is going to screw us up as a West Ham perspective, big time. 9 subs on the bench for this coming season instead of 7. So at any one point, you can have 18 players warming up on the pitch if needs be. That's going to be so funny. It would be great for clubs of our stature, where we can have more juniors involved. They get used to the atmosphere. They get to see what a Premier League game's like, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But it will be also to the advantage of the bigger clubs with the bigger squads. Now, this is what I have an issue with. The game is supposed to be trying to be as competitive and level-headed as much as possible. But to bring in this rule, I get it, but I don't see why at the same point. I understand it, because of the injuries and, with the substitution rule about the head injuries that came in last season as well ahead of the Euros. Stuff like that I understand, but in general, 9 substitutes instead of 7. We've gone from having 5 to 9 in the space of 2.5 seasons. or season and a half, depending on your point of view. It's crazy. It really is bonkers. But guys, thank you very, very much for your time. As always, leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this. On all, not just the 9 substitutes, everything we've discussed about the differences between deliberate and accidental. Do the Premier League need to come out with clearer instruction? Personally, I think yes. Even though it's always quite obvious what's clear, what's accidental and deliberate. They just need to be a bit more clearer and give better examples and better wording behind it. Also, of course, about the VAR, about flagging for offside and blah blah blah. And all the rest of it. Give us your thoughts on that as well, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you to everybody that's been subscribing recently. It's been great to have you guys on board. It was 1856 at the time of this recording. It's fantastic. So literally, it would be really nice to get to 1860 by the Newcastle game on Sunday. So that's just 4 new subscribers. That's all we need. 4 by Sunday. Even if it's 1 a day, we'll get there in time. So it'd be brilliant. So guys, if you want to support the channel with better content, and you want to have a live Q&A with me, then check out the Patreon tiers in the description below. There's literally it goes from £2 to £8, or £2.50 to £8. So basically 3/4 of a pint to just under 2 pints a month. Nothing to us football fans. It really is nothing. But if you don't want to pay, that's fine. I understand that. But subscribe to the channel, share this content if you like it and you think other people will enjoy it, and of course like it if you have enjoyed it as well. As I say, put your comments in the comment section below. The preview for the Newcastle game will be going up live on YouTube on Friday at 2 o'clock. It'll be live on Thursday for the Patreons. So either way, guys, if you don't watch any content between now and Sunday, I will see you for the live watch along for the Newcastle game. It's going to be entertaining, I reckon. Really is going to be fun. Hopefully we'll have a few more things to talk about by then. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves, take care, and I'll see you soon. All the best.